39-38 win over Delaware State at home. What did you like about the way your teams played?
Well, the fact that obviously we're happy to get the win and improve our record to 4-1. Obviously, it's our last non-conference game, so we're getting into the thick of the schedule right now. But just looking back on Saturday, I think offensively we had a big day. We were over 600 yards of offense, 250 on the ground, 380 passing, and I thought there was very good balance to what we did. I got to give credit to Rodney Nelson, who had a big day for us, over 200 yards on the ground, and was recognized by the conference as the offensive player of the week because of that. And when you look at our offense, your eyes got to go to Derek Robertson, who continued to have another great game. Passed for, I think it was 350 yards and distributed the ball to, I guess it was 8 different receivers. On the receiving end, TJ Spate did a great job. Had 7 catches for 145 yards. So, very happy with what we're doing on offense. We're putting points on the board. We're converting third downs, and we're moving the ball up and down the field. And defensively, we knew we were going to have our hands full. The team that was averaging, I think, 280 yards on the ground per week and putting up 32 points a game. But I thought we did a solid job. I mean, there were some instances where we didn't. We had some breakdowns, obviously. We're not as consistent as we need to be, but I think 75% of their yardage came on like 13 plays. But we're becoming more consistent on the defensive end. We've got a lot of new faces. We're kind of getting them into the groove. They're playing together right now. Very happy with what Jaden Jones and Deuce Lee are doing on the back end. And Lamont Lester in the defensive end position continues to come up with some big plays. Had another couple of sacks on Saturday. So it's a work in progress on that side of the ball, but I'm happy with the progress that we're making.
I think your passing attack has been so prolific, and you guys have scored so much on quick strikes and everything all year. When you're playing an offense like Delaware State's that is also explosive, how important was you gave running the ball 32 times and being able to use that running attack and eat a little bit of clock? How big was that?
Well, it was tremendous. It was very big for us, and especially in the second half when we had the lead. I believe it is we went up 9 late in the game, and then we knew we had to grind out some tough yardage, and it was tough yardage. They're very athletic. They're a very physical unit on the defensive side. And we had to pound away at them. And the last drive, I think we ran the ball 14 consecutive plays to kind of erase what time was left on the clock. But that was very big to be able to run the ball like that.
You've touched on the depth, and we've talked a lot about the depth of your receiving core and you touched on all the guys that touch the ball. Trey Neal also showed that he can throw the ball a little bit if Derek needs a little help or anything like that. It was a pretty nice play to Jack Neri there.
It was, and that's a play that we've had in for a couple of weeks now, and we're just waiting for the right opportunity to pull it out, right field position, things like that. And that was a big play at the time on Saturday. It allowed us to retake the lead. I believe it was tied when he threw the ball, put the ball right on Jack for the touchdown, and got some national exposure for it as well.
Have he played? I know guys play in high school, especially athletes like Trey. Has he played any quarterback? That was a pretty good throw. It wasn't like Jack was wide open.
I've got to be honest with you. It was a very good throw. When we ran that play last week in practice, he bounced it about 5 yards short of Jack. So, I mean, we kind of were holding our breath a little bit. We were hoping it was going to get there, and he came through when the chips were down.
You touched on your defense. When we talked last Monday, you were concerned about the running game from Delaware State, and they did put up 281 yards. What makes that group so difficult to try to stop?
Well, it's really a 3-pronged attack. You've got 2 excellent running backs who really run hard, run tough. They're physical. They're big backs. And then the quarterback. The quarterback can pull it down and run at any time. Some of them are designed. Some of them aren't designed. And he's one of the fastest guys that we've played against all season long. And he ripped off some big runs that really hurt us. Some of them were designed passes where he dropped back and was able to scramble and pick up positive yards. And some of them were designed runs. So you've got to have somebody paying attention to the quarterback all the time, not just to throw the ball, but in case he decides to pull it down and run as well. And then you've got 2 very, very good backs. And the other thing that I think makes them so prolific as a rushing team is the size of their offensive line. by far the biggest line that we've played against this year.
You touched on Jaden Jones, 13 tackles, 2 for loss. He's among leading tacklers now in the conference. Talk about the year that he's had for you.
He's really had a breakout season for us. It's his first time starting, one of 7 or 8 first time starters we have on the defensive side, and he's just doing an exceptional job. He's all over the field. He's relentless in what he does. There's not a guy that hustles more than Jaden does on the field, and it's good to see him getting the rewards for all that hard work.
And then Lamont Lester as well, 1.5 sacks in that game. I think he's now tied for the lead in the conference. What does he bring to your line there?
Well, he's a very explosive player. He's somewhat undersized. He's not the biggest guy for a defensive lineman, but he's got great quickness and he's got a tenacity about him. He's got a motor that never stops, and he's going to play until the whistle every single time he's out there. And because of that second effort, that third effort, he ends up getting a lot of sacks because of that.
Let's look ahead. As you said, your team returns to conference play on the road against a solid team in Towson. What are some of the challenges they present for you?
Well, offensively, they're doing a good job. They have a freshman quarterback, but they surround him with some very talented players, most notably at the receiver position, where they're playing 4, 5, and 6 guys every single game. They have outstanding ability. They're an older group. There's a lot of grad transfers in there, and they have big play potential at that position. And then the running backs, they have 2 running backs that they use, number 4 and number 3, who are both. One's a big, strong, experienced player. The other one's a little bit younger, smaller, but he's exceptionally fast. And again, we face for I think the 3rd consecutive week, we face an offensive line that has tremendous size. They're just 6'4", 320-pound average across the board, much bigger than we are on the defensive side. And on the defensive side, there are a lot of new faces for them, but it's an experienced group, meaning that they're guys that have come in, they're seniors or they're grads, students. They've played a lot of football, and they're a team that's in the top 5 in scoring defense in the CAA. So it's a team that, has good players, or a unit that has good players at all 3 levels, the defensive line, the linebackers, the safety. We're going to have to be extremely balanced on offense to be able to move the ball.
What impresses you, or what do you like about their freshman quarterback, Andrew Endorf?
He's got a tremendous amount of poise. Nothing seems to rattle him. He's smart. He delivers the ball. He distributes it to as I said, a group of very talented receivers. And he's very athletic. When he pulls the ball down and wants to run with it or has some design runs, he's very athletic, and he can pick up positive yards. He's a very competitive kid. You wouldn't know watching him that that's a freshman player that you're watching.
You talked about their defense, and there's some new faces, but Towson was a team that you guys lost to a year ago at home and only scored 14 points in that game. As you've gone back, I'm sure you've gone back and analyzed that tape. What were they able to do?
Well, they did a tremendous job against us last year, and all credit to Towson and the staff down there, the coaching staff. They really boxed us in pretty good. We had trouble throwing the ball. We could not run the ball. They got after our quarterback very effectively, and really had us off guard the entire game. One of the few games where we really couldn't find the end zone a year ago, and that's something that's obviously an area of concern for us going into this week.
As you said, the non-conference part of your schedule is over. You've already got a really nice win over a good Villanova team. But what is sort of the focus as you put non-conference behind you? And what have you learned about your team in the non-conference as you really start conference slate the rest of the way? I think you hit the mute button by mistake there, Coach. Or somehow it got on.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. I don't know how that
okay.
happened there, but our team has a tremendous high level of focus. The motto that they planned is 1-0 this week. They focus on this week's opponents and they go to work. And so far through the first part of the season, first part of the schedule, I've been impressed about how hard we work each and every day. We come to the practice field, we're ready to go, we're ready to work. It's all business. And I think it's because of that attitude that they have that we're seeing the results on Saturday.
All right, Coach. Thanks so much for doing this with us this morning. Safe travels to Taos.